Chosen one.
Everyone, I am your host, Jeff Wolf. I'm alongside Eric Bannock. We, of course, are the Rope Break.
Yeah, the chosen one, baby.
As you can tell by that music, it is going to be surrounded, I guess, around Jeff Jarrett. You are going to get your wish for once.
The king of the fucking mountain, as Nick Gage would say.
I guess if you could say that there was one topic that really kind of broke news, and I say that in parentheses because to me it's not that big, is that Jeff Jarrett returned to TNA at least for one more match.
Yeah, they were having an orgasm about it last night.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole internet world broke. Like, it was like this huge, amazing news that Jeff Jarrett came back to TNA. Where it's like, great, yeah. It's a good story, but you know what? This is the only big positive story that's come out of TNA for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Yeah, the last big positive story that came out of TNA was Austin Aries cashed in Option C, baby, won the world title.
That honestly probably was. I think me and you are going to have different opinions on today's show, which is awesome. I love it because it gets boring sometimes when we're agreeing with so much stuff. But I really don't agree with everyone online that this was that big of a deal. So
yeah, well, I think it is and it isn't, so you can discuss it.
So we're going to get into that. There's a lot of stuff that happened with TNA, good and bad this week. We're going to get into both the pros and cons of that, which is surprising because we don't talk about TNA on the show at all. But that kind of goes in to show how slow of a week it was for WWE.
Yeah, because I don't really know of anything that really happened in WWE this week other than Doph re-signed, supposedly.
Yeah, the only things we're talking about WWE this week is Doph. A news article came out about Shawn Michaels I'd like to just talk about, and then we're going to talk about Tough Enough. And that's about it for TNA. Everything else is going to be about that's it for WWE. Everything else is going to be about TNA, a little bit about Ring of Honor, a little bit about NXT, and some about GFW.
And AIW, baby. Nick fucking Gage.
Do you actually have anything to talk about Nick Gage, or you just want to just have another F-bomb out there?
I just like being like my hero Nick Gage and just dropping F-bombs.
From Jeff Jarrett to Nick Gage. Those are your two wrestling crushes.
They're going to be future tag team champions.
What a team that would be. What a conversation it would be just to have those two together.
Yeah,
like
I'm the fucking man, so choke on that, slap nuts.
Like two of the extremely opposite spectrums are those two people.
Yeah, country music and gangster rap.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to get into it. So Jeff Jarrett, he came on to Impact this past week. It was live, was it not? I'm pretty sure it was live this week.
Yeah. Yeah, it was live.
Yeah. So he came on, and it was, to me, it was just a cry fest. Like, I loved Jeff Jarrett, and I loved him in WCW especially. But I don't really get this whole big love for him coming back. Like, I wanted him to have that moment where it's his baby. Like, TNA was his creation with his father, the founders of it, and I wanted him to have his time to just step away from it on his terms. But at the same time, it's like what's done is done. It's like, what's this one match really going to do? And you watched the pay-per-view, right?
Yes. How
awesome was this match? And was this a huge moment?
The match itself was average.
Okay.
It wasn't, I mean, there were some cool spots and stuff. Like Drew Galloway got on top of the jail box and did a pretty much a swanton bomb off of it onto everybody else.
Okay.
That was pretty cool.
He's not a cruiserweight.
No, and you had Eric Young pile drive Jeff Jarrett's head onto a ladder that was on the ring apron and the barricade where the fans are at, so that was kind of cool. He did it from the apron. Jarrett hit the stroke off the top of the ladder. That was cool. Matt Hardy obviously did a twist of fate off of the ladder. So, I mean, there were some cool spots. And then I think another cool one, if you've been a TNA fan, was Eric Young and Bobby Roode doing the Team Canada, singing the national anthem real quick with their hand over their heart, going back to their Team Canada days.
That's cool. I do.
Yeah.
After you told me about that, I thought that was actually pretty cool. Team Canada was awesome.
Yeah,
I loved them.
But the match itself was just average.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's just, I don't know. It's like TNA to me is that, it's that thing where it's like, you honestly don't know if it's going to be there tomorrow. Like, they're so unorganized. They're so...
Well, let me ask you this first.
There's no structure in this company whatsoever. Do
you want to get into the good first or the bad first?
Gosh, all I want to talk about is the bad, so I'll let you go into the good. Because I don't want to rain on your parade too much. Okay, the good, that Jeff Jarrett did come back. Yes. And he didn't go out on his own terms the first time. They pretty much pushed him out, pretty much. And this time, they offered him to come back, and what happened was... that's the thing, though, that I think bugs me and I think bugs you. We don't know what this is for. Are they partners? Are they talent exchanging? Even though he said, this isn't a talent exchange, and then he steals half of their guys. Yeah, the releasing this week say otherwise. Yeah, so he signed to Magnus with the Impact Wrestling monitors right behind them, which I thought was great, and that was posted on their Global Forces Twitter earlier today. But that's the thing that bugs me about it, is nobody really knows what the hell is going on between these two companies. Obviously, they let Jeff come back. They had, how he said it is TNA called him. They had an idea. They wanted him to be in this King of the Mountain match, which they hadn't done in six years, I think it was. 2009 was the last one that they did. That long. Yeah. Okay. So they hadn't done it in 6 years, and they wanted to bring him back for that. And obviously the other part is they wanted to induct him into the TNA Hall of Fame, which he should have been the first person inducted into the goddamn thing anyways. Well, his father should have been the first. But I'll agree with you. Maybe put them in together. But if he doesn't go in one, he goes in two. Yeah, it should have been the Jarrett family. Of actual talent that deserved it, of actual wrestlers that deserved it, it would be AJ Styles. But of actual people that you put into a Hall of Fame, I mean, there is no TNA without the Jarretts, and Jeff is included in that. Yeah, so I agree with it. Absolute slap in the face the way that he gets taken out of that company. To me, I don't even understand how it was possible. Like, I don't know all the workings and everything, and like when he sold off stuff to Panda, Dixie, and stuff, but it's absolute bullshit the way it went down. Absolutely agree with that. Yeah, and I agree with you on the point you brought up that why the fuck isn't AJ Styles either 1 or 2 going into the Hall of Fame? Yeah. I think he should have been 2 behind Jeff Jarrett personally, but he should still be there. They basically put a bunch of former WWE guys who came over and helped them out in before TNA regulars, which is total bullshit. So the TNA Hall of Fame is a big entire fucking joke, and I know we agree on that. Yeah. Back to the good. So Jeff got to be in the King of the Mountain match. He said was his last TNA match, pretty much his last Impact match, and it was in his match that he created. So that was cool, and that was nice to see. I think one of the cool parts of last night's show was the fans chanting "Thank you, Jarrett" before the match. He got a pretty good pop, probably the best pop of the night for him. That's good. The fans were pretty much behind him and all that. So that was good, and obviously Jarrett won the match. It wasn't for anything. It was a King of the Mountain title belt. What does the belt look like? You'd have to look at it on Twitter, but it's like... Is there one that you'd compare it to? It kind of looks like the WWE tag team titles right now, but it's silver. It's just like plain. Okay. You know what I mean? Okay. So it looks like giant silver penny.
Yeah, with like a red belt, I think it was. Okay. It was like a darkish red.
Okay.
So he got that, and he won the title, the King of the Mountain title. Now, from what I heard today, is he's actually going to take that title to GFW, and he's going to defend it in GFW.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. Like, there's some huge deal going on between the two.
Yeah, we don't know it yet. So when those details come out, I'm sure we'll podcast about it and talk about it more.
Yeah.
But there's definitely something going on between those two.
Yeah, there's some kind of contract.
Or Jarrett's buying them out or something. I mean, Jarrett should just buy them out anyways because they've been wanting to get out of the wrestling business, and they've been killing that company for years now.
Yeah, but I wonder what the price tag really is. It's got to be because this company
honestly,
is
I
absolutely
think they should,
dumb as shit.
I think they should pay Jarrett to take it. Here's Jeff. Here's $1 million, and you get the company. Here you go.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. But I wonder what their asking price really is because I'm like, even if Vince doesn't even say anything, I'm sure he has inquired about just buying them out.
Or at least their video library.
Well, yeah, like not even to make it a company. He probably doesn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, I think
he probably would like to have the company's library because he likes to collect libraries. It's what he does. He's a library collector, and he would love to have like footage of Christian, footage of Sting, footage of probably the Dudleys, Jeff Hardy, the Hardys. I mean, there's other things that they would love to make DVDs of, I'm sure, and they would love to bring in some stuff from Impact.
And they got Joe.
Now they have Joe. I mean, they've gotten, and I mean, they're not going to make another Punk DVD in the near future, but you'd have that too.
But he didn't really do anything in TNA, really.
No, but he had some good matches. You see, you don't know because you weren't watching those. That's in the days of the weekly pay-per-views.
Yeah.
That I watched every week.
I was kind of watching. I had it on black and white scrambled and just listening to the perfect sound. That was the
perfectly legal.
That was before the days of live streaming when you could steal somebody's stream off the internet and watch it.
Yeah, that like everyone did, which is why they made up the network.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was the positive from last night and these beginnings.
Yeah.
I might have a little bit more positive. I'm glad Jeff won. He got to celebrate with his whole family in the ring. He brought all the kids in the ring. And celebrated with his wife Karen and him, and they had a celebration in the ring afterwards. You were pretty fucking stupid if you thought Jeff was going to lose that match last night.
Yeah. If you had a bet with a buddy about Jeff not winning that, then you must have had some really great odds.
Do you want me to go over the results or matches?
I mean, if you want to. The only thing I wanted to bring up with this past week of the actual show that Jarrett was on, I thought it was a cool moment to see Jeff in the ring again. I don't find it as big as breaking news as everyone else did, but I do want to mention the tag matches between the Wolves and the Dirty Heels is some of the best matches on mainstream wrestling shows that you've seen in the last couple years. I mean,
you should have seen the match last night. Then I would, if I were you, I'd maybe try and look it up and see if you can find it from last night.
Did they wrestle again, or was it just like
it was 1 versus 1. It was Aries versus Richards, Davey Richards. And that match went like 20 minutes, and it was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was just amazing match.
That's what
like
they keep
you expected.
doing. If they're not fighting each other, they're fighting. They're fighting one versus one to like have the next match's like gimmick match announced or something like that. But they're absolutely phenomenal matches.
So the winner of that match last night got to pick the stipulation for the final match, which is this Wednesday.
Okay, and what's that going to be?
And Austin Aries won. Bobby Roode came out. Then Eddie came out and tried to distract him, so Davey was distracted by that, and Aries rolled him up, grabbed the tights, and pinned him for the 1, 2, 3. So Aries came out of the ring, grabbed the mic, and announced that on Wednesday Bobby Roode and Austin Aries pride themselves on being able to go the longest possible that anybody can go in the ring. Nobody can outwork them. So they said 30-minute Iron Man match for the tag title.
I like that.
So that'll be cool. So it'll be a 30-minute Iron Man match this Wednesday.
It's legit. Like if you watch TNA on a weekly basis, the only things that are even worth watching are the tag matches that are going on between those two teams and when EC3 is on. Everything else you don't need to watch.
Yeah. So
it's horrible.
This is my problem now that I'm getting to. So you have this match, an Iron Man match, 30 minutes with two of the best tag teams in the world today. You also have a world title match this Wednesday between Kurt Angle and EC3 for the world title. Okay?
Yeah.
Why the fuck do you not have that on Slammiversary, an actual pay-per-view that people pay money for?
Not only that, this is the pay-per-view for TNA.
Yeah, the pay-per-view for TNA.
And you didn't have, maybe not but it's like the top two, like this and Bound for Glory.
Okay, yeah. But you didn't have a world title match on this pay-per-view. You didn't have the tag team title match on this pay-per-view. All you had was the X Division title defended early. The women's title wasn't even defended. It was like a 3-on-2 tag match. And, and you had the King of the Mountain title. That was all that was defended last night.
And that's my problem. There is no structure in this company. There's no guideline.
So now, if I paid for last night, which I didn't, I would feel like a fucking jerk-off if I spent $40, $50 or whatever for last night's Slammiversary, and then I can watch live on my television this Wednesday a world title match and a tag title match, which are probably two of the best matches you'll see on TNA in a while.
Yeah, both those matches
it's going to be on
matches.
free TV. Yeah, and it's going to be on free TV instead of a pay-per-view that should have happened last night. Those matches should have been on last night.
Yeah,
to have a pay-per-view without a world title match is fucking stupid. And that's why I hated it when fucking Brock Lesnar was champion and he wasn't wrestling with the world title on the line on the WWE pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Even though they weren't technically pay-per-views, they're
still special events.
Yeah.
It's
just stupid. You defend the world title on every pay-per-view. It's how it's always been, and it's how it always should be. What's the point? You're just demeaning the title.
I don't mind if it doesn't get defended every other month. I mean, if you want to go that route and just
But Brock Lesnar went 3-4 months without defending.
It was like 4 months.
Yeah. And then, I don't care. It's SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, whatever other big pay-per-view WWE has, the world title is always defended on it.
Yeah.
Slammiversary, Bound for Glory are arguably the two biggest TNA pay-per-views, and the fucking world title wasn't defended on it. That is bullshit. So I feel sorry for anybody that actually paid for that last night, because that is just total bullshit that you guys didn't get to see a world title match, and you should have had 30-minute Iron Man tag match on that show last night.
Yeah. Did that show? Well, you haven't watched TNA. I was going to say if that show felt any different than watching a weekly show.
I guess in a little bit of a way. I mean, it was pretty much match. Jeremy Borash backstage promo with an interview or something, either a promo or an interview, and then match, and then same thing. Borash match. It was just like that the whole night.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was pretty much just like that. There was nothing backstage other than the quick little interviews. They pretty much did match, Borash interview, and he would interview a person that was in the King of the Mountain match for later that in the evening.
Yeah.
And they each had like a say of why they think they're going to be or whatever. Yeah. So the only two positives from last night's TNA was the Aries versus Davey Richards match, which was amazing, and the King of the Mountain match, which was average. It was nice to see Jeff come back and win it. All the other matches were, I don't even really want to say average. I'll say below average.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the X Division title match because I started a little late, so I can't say if that match was good or not. The next match was, I think it was Bram versus Matt Morgan. I don't know who Bram is, and he won somehow.
He's like he's their new version of a hardcore badass.
Yeah, he looks like James Storm pretty much.
Yeah.
And he just I don't know, he got the win over Matt Morgan, which is another thing I want to bring up. That is like a Vince McMahon wet dream if I ever saw one. Is Matt Morgan?
Yeah.
How he must be a total fucking douchebag for him not to be back in WWE yet.
Well, he was when he first left TNA,
well, I know,
a year or so ago.
There's something happened. Obviously,
Yeah.
He must be totally full of himself and not willing to accept, whatever WWE's offer was, which is probably, not, average at best.
Well, but more than that, it was probably to go down to NXT.
And he thinks he was better. Yeah.
He has too much of an ego to say, no, I don't want to do that. I want to be on the main roster right from the beginning.
Which is bullshit, because that guy would have been in NXT for 6 months, maybe less,
Tops.
and he would have been he would have been on the main roster as their new fucking Batista.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
he would have been a star, because the guy can go. He's huge. He's like 7 foot 320, but he's just fucking jacked. He's athletic. He can talk on the mic. He's gotten better on the mic. There's no reason why that guy Vince McMahon would not push him to the moon.
Yeah, I mean, when he was in WWE at first, he was a chubby guy. But he has definitely lost the weight.
That's what I was going to ask you. What did he do in WWE? I don't even remember. Was he even on the roster? Or
he was on the roster. He was there for a little bit, not a whole long time.
Was he with anybody, or was he just a solo wrestler?
I'm pretty sure he was with somebody. It's been so long now. It's like...
Yeah, I don't remember.
That was probably that was at least 7 or 8 years ago now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh, that's probably even more than that.
Yeah, well, whose class was he with? Was he with The Miz?
I want to say he was on... I want to say he was on Tough Enough, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm almost certain he was on Tough Enough. I'm just not sure exactly which one. I think it was the Miz and Pewters one.
Yeah, well, we can wiki it later.
Yeah, we'll wiki it later. But yeah, he's chiseled now. He's awesome. The fans in TNA love him because he really is. He's like one of those guys a couple of years ago that associated with TNA. Really? Yeah,
he was associated with TNA, and they had so much confidence in him. He was doing commercials for their one sponsor, that tax company.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
And he was doing pretty good on those commercials. Those commercials were pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's not horrible. There's some people in WWE that are a lot worse than him. So he should be in WWE, but you never know what's going on. You don't know the backstage politics. You don't know if he soured someone on his time being there in the beginning.
He seems like he'd be an egomaniac kind of.
Yeah, he does seem that way. So I mean, you just don't know. But he definitely has the height. He has somewhat of the charisma, enough of the charisma to belong in WWE. So it's a little surprising, but whatever. We'll see. We'll see if he even stays around in TNA.
I think if WWE bought out TNA, that would definitely be one of the guys that they would buy.
Yeah,
I don't even really know what his contract. Yeah, I don't even really know what his contract deal is now, since he just came back the other day.
Yeah, and that's the thing with that past show is you saw Matt Morgan return. You saw
Vader.
Who? Yeah, you saw Vader come in there. Who was the guy with the group at the very end with MVP? Oh, Hernandez. You saw Hernandez come back. You saw a couple people. So I don't know if that was just a one-off kind of.
And this Jeff Jarrett guy showed up too. I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And this guy called Jeff Jarrett. He showed up with his woman, and they were crying for 10 minutes. That was awesome.
Oh, stop.
All right, we'll move on from that.
The greatest wrestler of all time is allowed to do that.
Yeah, I agree. It's just bringing Karen in there, which I don't respect Karen worth a shit, honestly. I really don't. I mean, all she does is goes from one wrestler to another and causes friction and whatever. I know you have the hots for Karen, but I don't respect her. And I don't give a shit about her opinion, honestly.
I don't really care either. I just want to look at her tits.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, so that was we talked about pros and negatives about the last week's show and everything. This is a week in TNA for this week. It started on a very high note. Jeff Jarrett's returning. Then throughout the week we get information. One, their champion at this point, Kurt Angle, has a tumor in his neck. A tumor. And he has to get surgery. And we have people I think I have a list. We have the people that have either asked for the release. Now, some of these people have denied that this is true, but from what we understand, these people have either asked for the release or they've just quit or not re-signed their contract. Their contract expired, whatever. They're out of the company at this point, from what we understand. Low Key, former X Division champion, former, I believe, tag team champion. James Storm.
Hell yeah, Triple X, baby.
Triple X, baby. James Storm, former world champion, former tag team champion, maybe the best tag team ever in TNA. I'm a little partial to the Guns, but still. Magnus, former world champion, all around great talent that they brought up within the company.
Yep, and he's already signed with Global Force.
Yeah, he's signed with Global Force already. Awesome Kong and Taryn Terrell, those are the ones that are denying that they've actually asked for the release and getting cut. So we'll see about that. But still, both.
And then you also have
champions. You got Mickie James, former women's
she's
champion.
Gone.
Austin Aries,
Mickie James just signed with Global Force.
Yeah, she just signed with Global Force. Austin Aries' contract expired. You have Gunner and Sam Shaw, which aren't that big of deals, but still, it's like.
Yeah, those are two of their mid-carders, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, and then for a while, Gunner was actually looked at as I think at one point he may have had a briefcase to be have a world championship shot. So he was actually looked at pretty highly. It's crazy to see all these names within a matter of like 5 days that they're all leaving the company now, and it's like this is literally a sinking ship. It's like it's like TNA is a cat because they literally have like 12 lives. They just never fully die.
Yep, and I just saw today Austin Aries hired a management company, like a sports management company that they do actors, sports athletes, and all that. He hired them to be like his management team.
Yeah, I saw some. I didn't look at the article, but I saw that he hired a management team. So that's
which is cool. So I'm probably gonna send an email to them to make sure he's at AIW in about a week.
Oh, I would love that.
He could show up and he could hit a brainbuster on Gargano, and I'll probably mark out like a little girl.
Oh my gosh, that would be a dream match for you, Austin Aries versus Gargano.
It was in Arizona that one time.
But you know what? It didn't happen.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, that would be an amazing match.
It's like Aries versus anybody. I would love to see.
Yeah.
That guy he's just so freaking talented.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll probably be back in Ring of Honor.
Like. I wish TNA would fold, and a lot of these guys would just say, okay, you know what, I'll go to Ring of Honor or just work indies, and just so you could go see like the Wolves versus the Young Bucks on an indie show, like AIW show, Wolves versus Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? You get Aries versus, just any of these young up-and-comers, like Aries versus Cedric Alexander would be freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Just anything.
I'd love for just like Dreamers promotion, HOH to just make it big. Like I had high hopes for TNA. I was with TNA literally from the moment that it was known that it was a promotion. Yep. Like I was literally behind them from day one.
I know Jeff was because he was paying the $9.95 for the weekly pay-per-views every week.
How stupid is that?
Yeah, he was paying it, and he was watching those famous Clockwork Orange House of Fun matches.
Oh yeah. Oh man, those were good though because on those that was when at a point in wrestling with a new promotion that if just anyone new showed up, it was awesome, and they brought in just about anyone that.
Yeah, I remember didn't X-Pac show up as Sean Waltman, and they brought in. It was right around, I don't want to say right around the WCW departure, but it was like maybe a year or two after WCW was bought out. Yeah. So you had a lot of the WCW guys, like Disco Inferno was in there. He was one of the main stable guys.
Oh, yeah,
Vince Russo started Sports Entertainment Extreme.
I see it.
Yeah, sex sells, baby.
Sex sells.
And they had Triple X was like the main tag team, which was Daniels, Loki, and Elix. Was that right?
Yeah.
It was those three. Raven and Jeff Jarrett were big names. Ron Killings, who's R-Truth, was one of their big guys.
Rhino was big for a while.
Yep. I'm trying to think of the early years. Our personal favorite that never made it, Sonny Siaki. Like, that dude was really good.
Just love that name, Sonny Siaki.
Yeah, it was a great name. He looked like $1 million.
Yeah.
They could have made him something. You had a young Bobby Roode in Team Canada early on with was it Scott D'Amore?
Yes, Scott D'Amore.
You had James Mitchell, doing his little demon managing role. He was with Abyss for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember who else off the top of my head.
He was with Raven
you had
for
those.
a while too.
Yeah, that's just an incredible team there. Raven and James Mitchell.
Oh yeah.
Raven doesn't even need a mouthpiece, but
no.
James Mitchell's just so good too.
Well,
it's just.
What's funny is those two have done a shoot interview together, and it's hilarious to see those two in a room together, just talking and just like saying whatever the hell they want.
Yeah. I mean, that's two of the brightest wrestling minds there is.
Yeah. My point is,
right
TNA,
there.
I had extremely high hopes for TNA, and I was there for the ups and downs. But Dixie has absolutely ruined the company, and there's no way of saying otherwise. Like, there's still people out there, and I see it online every day. There's still people out there that are still holding on to hope that TNA is going to turn it around.
Yeah. I knew. I mean, I had hope for them, but when I started seeing that they weren't able to pay their wrestlers, or they were behind a month or two,
they're still paying the crew late.
Yeah, that's when I knew, okay, they're done.
Yeah.
And now they're just hanging on. They've hung on longer than ECW did. I'll give them credit for that. But I mean, it's to that point where the inevitable is going to happen. Like, someone's going to buy them out, or they're not going to extend their TV deal, or whatever. Because without a TV deal, they're done. They can't go on the road and do these shows. No. They just won't happen.
And tell me how WCW got blackballed from going on any other network and having to get sold to Vince McMahon, and TNA has found ways of getting on other networks every time.
Well, that's because Vince is friends with pretty much all the networks and probably said, don't let them in or you won't get our business anymore. Because NBC, is his big partner.
Yeah.
And all their channels that they own, which includes USA and all that. So, yeah. So, anything else on TNA? Any more bad? Because I know you had a lot of bad.
No, I've said my rants. The only other thing I wanted to bring up was Eric Young's post pay-per-view rant.
Oh yeah,
this is what you don't say to a fan base when your company is going down.
Are you gonna read it? Are you gonna read it word for word?
No. Do you have it in front of you?
No, but
okay.
I kind of remember it. It was like, if you didn't like tonight's show, go fuck yourself.
Yes, in a nutshell, that's what it is.
Yes.
And then it got deleted, and he changed it like I feel sad for you or something like that if you didn't like the show or something.
Yeah, which, you know what, I get from them, because those guys bust their ass and put on good shows and good wrestling, or try to at least, and it's, sometimes it's not the greatest.
Well, also, at this point, as of last night, that was 5 nights in a row for them.
Yeah, 5 nights in a row, and a lot of those guys, that was their last show last night.
Yeah, it was.
Even though they'll be on, like, the next, like, couple weeks of Impact tapings, because they taped, like, 17 months in advance worth of shows last night.
Yeah.
They got that, and it's like Magnus, that was his last night. So, it was emotional. He had an emotional interview, and stuff like that.
That was probably James Storm's last night, Magnus's last night. I think Awesome Kong and Tantrell were both on the card last night.
Yeah, they wrestled in the same match. So
Mickey wasn't on the card, but I'm sure she was backstage. If not, her last. I hope that's horrible. Mickie James' last moment in TNA is going to be being thrown under a bus.
A train,
whatever.
Yeah,
and then Austin Aries last night too. So
yeah, so. And also, I love the MVP and Austin Aries, the double middle finger picture. That was great.
Yeah, that MVP posted. If you guys aren't friends with MVP or follow MVP on Facebook, I suggest find him.
That's another guy I would love to see go back to WWE. Even if he got put in NXT, I think he would do awesome in NXT. I just missed the whole MVP character.
Yeah,
in,
I do too. He did it extremely well.
Yeah. I wish he would be able to go back there. But I would also love to see all these guys, either Global Force get a TV deal and a lot of these guys go with Jeff Jarrett, or they go to Ring of Honor and let Ring of Honor get big.
Yeah.
Bigger than they, haven't been before. I mean, they've been really big indie-wise, but they haven't, now that they have an actual national TV deal, I'd love to see guys like Austin Aries go back, MVP go there. I'd love to see Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy go there just so the fucking fans would boo the fuck out of them. That would be amazing.
At least Jeff. Jeff would for sure get booed.
You know what I'm so glad he doesn't do is, what was that, Homo the Whisper, whatever his name was?
Willow the Whisperer?
Pussy Willow the Whisper, whatever. That was the dumbest fucking thing. Oh my god, I remember when they debuted that, and he stuck his head in the camera and said something stupid.
I don't remember what he said, but I remember watching that and just cracking up laughing because it was the dumbest thing in the world.
Yeah. God.
But you brought up GFW, so that's going to bring us into our next thing. A week ago, even I was saying GFW's got no steam going or anything like that. Well, no, a week has passed, and now these people that are leaving are already signing with GFW, so it's becoming the next TNA, so to speak, in a sense.
Well, I want to say this all started when they had Tyrus, which was Brodus Clay, in WWE. They had him signed for GFW, and TNA said, no, you can't use him. We're pulling him from there. And Brodus had to tell Jeff, look, I can't. I got to pull out of the promotion. And they never ever really say why, but it was pretty much because TNA told him he couldn't be there. So I want to say this partnership or whatever they have an agreement on all stemmed from that spot.
Yeah, it probably does.
And now Global Force went off and signed a bunch of new people. They signed Magnus. Mickey James just signed. And our favorite local hometown hero, Johnny Gargano, signed.
Well,
anybody else?
The thing that's interesting is that there's certain people that are signed just for one show. Like Johnny's only signed for that one show. So so he's only going to be at that show in the Cleveland area. And then it's happened for other couple people that are only signing for shows in the LA kind of area. So it'll be really interesting to see if they're signing what all these contracts are. Some of these contracts are just for one show, and some of these contracts I think are going to be for multi-shows.
Yeah. I mean, if you look on their roster page, I looked at it yesterday, Johnny Gargano wasn't on there. I mean, I could pull up their roster right now and just name you some people off of it. Chris Masters, who was in WWE, he's on there. He's been on there. The Young Bucks are on there, and they're on their roster page. PJ Black, which is Justin Gabriel from WWE. They have three people from the Bullet, or actually three people from the Bullet Club. Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows, and Doc Gallows' wife, which is the Bullet Babe. They got Sonya
Dutt.
Really?
His wife is on there?
Yeah, that was that one I was telling you about. I'm pretty sure it's his wife because her name's Amber Gallows, so it would make sense. Sonya Dutt, Lance Hoyt, Davey Boy Smith is on there.
Oh, so Magnus has to change his name too. Because I'm on their website and it says Nick Aldis joins Global Force Wrestling, and that's Magnus.
Oh yeah, must be. Which is weird because Lance Hoyt and Sonya Dutt, unless those are their real names.
No. But Sanjay, well, it could be. I don't know. Because Sanjay that's just been his name for wherever he's ever been. But he's never had to be signed to a main corporate company. Yeah. I mean, he was with TNA for a long time, but then he hasn't really been in TNA for a long time. Yeah,
and then a couple more guys. They got Moose. I'll just name the guys that people will know. Trent Beretta is there. Shelton Benjamin is there. Sonata is there.
Oh wow, Lance Hoyt.
Yep, I just said that. Jimmy Rave, that's another TNA blast from the past.
Yeah.
Jigsaw is in there. The Hot Shots. Chuck Taylor. Why does that sound familiar?
I don't know. Cliff Compton. I'm pretty sure he was in TNA for a little.
Yeah, he was that moron that was like with ODB.
Yeah, he was that country guy.
Chris Sabin, and then everyone's favorite, Big Papa Pump.
Big Papa Pump, keeping it sexy.
Scotty.
And Trent Beretta.
So,
yeah. I mean, they have.
I mean, the roster's not terrible.
No,
now
the roster's getting better and better as it goes on.
Yeah.
Oh, and I mean, it's showing TV tapings. So you were right the other day. We talked kind of candidly off camera, But
I don't know what channel or anything. Like, I never found that out.
No. So,
but they are having TV tapings. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're getting better and they're getting a structure for the company. So it is cool to see that they're actually going in the right step. I don't hate the name Global Force Wrestling as much as I did. It's starting to get a little bit better in my head, I guess.
Now, okay, what do you think about him defending the King of the Mountain title? Do you think that should be something like special, or obviously I think it should be something special, like maybe once a year kind of deal, but obviously Jeff is going to be the one who's going to defend it.
Personally, I don't like it at all. I don't like that it's even going to be in the company.
See, what I don't get is Magnus can't have his name, but Jeff Jarrett can actually steal the match, King of the Mountain match, and have the King of the Mountain belt.
Yeah.
So that must be something, a part of the deal that they worked out or something.
Yeah. That's kind of cool they got Luke Hawx, too.
Yeah, so we're definitely interested to see Global Force. They're actually going to be in our hometown here in 2 weeks, like right after the AIW show the next day. So that'll be interesting. Be interesting to see if they do anything with AIW and Global Force, like if there's like an invasion that night. I think that would be really, really cool to get publicity for both companies.
Yeah.
I just think that would be awesome because AIW is pretty much one of the hottest indie shows, companies in the country right now.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's not just, and we're not just saying that just because.
Yeah, it really is.
It's our local promotion.
I mean, they're getting all the top indie talent to come there.
Yeah. I
mean, they don't screw around. They don't. They paid Samoa Joe. Hey, Joe, come here, wrestle for us. Hey, Young Bucks, come and wrestle here. They have Johnny Gargano and Josh Prohibition and Matt Cross. EC3 is a local guy as well. All those guys, Zema Ion or DJZ, he used to be in AIW before he went to TNA. So all these guys have ties to AIW. If you go on the AIW website and look at their roster, they have an alumni section, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, the list goes on and on and on of guys who wrestled in this company. So... yeah. AIW's got just a long history.
Yeah, so it would be very beneficial for them to maybe do some kind of connection with each other. It would be awesome if they could do that, especially if like AIW could get on the TV taping somewhere else. I mean, they would love that. So I mean, and they're literally right the next night after each other. So it'll be interesting to see what they actually do.
I'm interested to see if Jeff Jarrett might be there. It might be like, I would say, scouting. And maybe get to look at Ricky Shane Page. It would be nice if Josh Alexander, but he's retiring, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any of the other local guys that are there. Ricky Shane Page jumps out at me. I think Josh Prohibition just does local stuff. Matt Cross is huge, but he's in Lucha. I don't know if he would be able to get out of that contract.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Lucha. There's still no word on the next form of TV tapings for them.
So that I would not, if they cancel or whatever, there's no doubt in my mind Jeff Jarrett would be all over Matt Cross.
Oh yeah, he would absolutely love Matt Cross. I mean, especially if he's looking at Gargano.
Yeah, and especially those guys all know each other. Cross, Gargano, Greg Irons, all them guys, they're all from around here. Yeah. They all, they're all friends and talk and everything, so that would be really cool. So I'm interested to see if Jarrett would show up, and I would be willing to bet he would, because he's going to know people there. He's going to know Vader, obviously. Samoa Joe's there. EC3's there. He's going to know a lot of these guys. Yeah. So I wouldn't be shocked if there's something that goes on that night that makes that night even more epic.
If so, that'll be a huge moment. and that'll definitely make the indie wrestling world
I
buzz
think
the next morning.
Yeah, I think if you logged on to the internet the next day after that, I think that would be probably the second biggest indie news of the day.
What would be the first?
Nick fucking Gage beat Tim Donst's ass. Cancer didn't fucking kill you, but I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Oh man, I can't wait for that match. You're gonna be crazy.
I hope I wanna bring my own weapon.
Maybe we'll let you use it.
I want to bring my pizza cutter from home and let Nick Gage use it on his head. Hey, Nick, you should work at Donato's.
And we really need to start tweeting Nick Gage to listen to this podcast, because every single week there's a mention of Nick Gage.
Hell yeah, we mark out for Nick Gage.
Yeah.
I was thinking about buying his shirt. His shirt's actually pretty cool.
What's his shirt?
I'll show it to you after the show.
Okay. All right, so that's going to be it for TNA. I can't believe we talked this much about TNA, honestly, and GFW.
Yeah, for 45 minutes.
Yeah. So now we're going to get into kind of like weekly what happened with Ring of Honor, NXT. Talk about a couple of WWE things that went on last week, and then we're going to get out of here.
All right, let's do it, buddy.
All right. So Ring of Honor. This was actually an awesome show, right?
This is their best show that they've done.
Yeah. I mean,
so far on TV. By far, it blew every other show out of the water.
I was disappointed with the Michael Elgin match.
Yeah, I told you it was just.
It was just a really
squash.
It was like a 5-6 minute just like squash basically. But
the other two matches,
in between that was great. The main event was amazing, and actually that main event had been talked about for a long time. So I was waiting for this match to finally.
And the first match was amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it was
Roderick Strong was awesome.
Strong, and what's his first name? I don't forget it, but I know his last name.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah. And
who is royalty in New Japan.
Yeah. And that was my first time seeing this dude, and it's just like this Japanese dude who's all cocky and just so arrogant, and I loved it. It was amazing, and he can back it up. It's
funny because when I go visit my family in Columbus, there's they have a channel on their cable that actually gets the New Japan Pro Wrestling weekly show, and I was just stumbling one night and I saw it, and I literally watched it for like 3 hours, and the announce crew on New Japan blows anything out of the water right now. Like, their announce crew is amazing. I love it. Absolutely. I wish.
Did you understand any of it?
No. Well, it's American people. It's English people. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, one of the guys was a former wrestler in New Japan, and the other, I forget exactly who it is. I should have looked at it, but this is just going by the fly of it. Yeah, but the announcing is amazing there. And the wrestling there is amazing. Nakamura's on there a lot. Because they do a lot of the older, or not older, but the past like New Japan Pro Wrestling big mega events and everything. He's always on there because he really is one of the main guys on their company. So as soon as I put it on and I saw him, because I remember you told me that there was a guy from New Japan and the name was familiar, and then as soon as I saw him, I was like, hell yeah, that's him.
Yeah, and he had a amazing match with Roderick Strong. That match went on. I think it went through 2 commercial breaks.
Yeah.
It was literally a 20-minute match, nonstop action. These guys are just suplexing, doing I don't want to call them code breakers or backstabbers, but they did like 17 of those.
Yeah.
They were just going nuts.
Well, and that kind of thing just goes to show like when American wrestlers steal stuff from Japan guys, it's such a cool thing for American wrestling fans to see it, that it can be like a signature move or like a finisher for them. In New Japan, that's just them just going through a match and just doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah. And then the main event, which was the Bullet Club, AJ Styles, and the Young Bucks versus, I forget their name.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to try this and I'm going to butcher it. Kazuchika Okada and Roppongi Vice.
And Trent Beretta.
Yeah, it doesn't
which
show.
it goes.
It doesn't show
which
Brett
goes,
on here, but yeah, he was on there too.
And he goes by another name, I believe.
Yeah, but they're still calling him Beretta, so.
The one guy is awesome because the fans bring like fake Monopoly money with his face on it, and his nickname is the Rainmaker, and they just throw this money around when he comes out, and it's just amazing. And the match was even more amazing. It was just super kick after super kick.
I would like to count how many super kicks there were.
Yeah, it was really just an amazing match. Just even the other team was hitting main moves, but the Bullet Club is just so hot right now for them, and it's basically like a new NWO. It was just an amazing match. Definitely the best match that's been on Ring of Honor television so far.
Yeah, and that's what I was waiting for. Like, watching Ring of Honor TV syndicated on a weekly basis, they had a lot of this kind of stuff on a weekly basis, and they just weren't getting there yet.
Yeah.
I mean, but that just goes into this whole thing with them being on Destination America. It couldn't have been planned. It really couldn't have been. This was just out of nowhere. They finally came up with a deal. I think it was a scare tactic with TNA, personally.
And the best part of this show this week, Nigel McGuinness took over commentary pretty much, and it was amazing. Not amazing, but it was so much better than what we're used to.
Well, I mean, you have Kevin Kelly and Carino out there that don't really do much.
McGuinness, this was his first time being on the actual Destination America Ring of Honor announcing, and he took the lead. Like, Kevin Kelly just kind of sat there. I don't even know if I remember Kevin Kelly saying anything.
He didn't say much, which was great to see, or great to hear.
Yes, because McGuinness was amazing. He was giving you insight on the guys in the ring, like when he wrestled them, what he would do and stuff, or just giving you knowledge to know the wrestlers more. Like, that, he should be on their television announce team every single week. Get Kevin Kelly the F out of there.
Yeah.
Just like WWE did back in the day.
Yeah, there's a reason he hasn't been on since like 1998.
Yeah. Like Nigel McGuinness and Mike Tenay. That should be their team. They should go sign Mike Tenay.
Tenay I loved back in the day for WCW when they would bring him in for like cruiserweight matches, but I think just hearing him way too much on a weekly basis with TNA, it's like I'm just sick of him. So I'm okay with Mike Tenay not being.
But Mike Tenay is better than Michael Cole and Lawler. He might not be on Jim Ross's level, but he's pretty close to Jim Ross level in my mind.
I mean, if we're talking about who knows actual wrestling moves, then Tenay blows him right out of the water.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going to talk about like an iconic voice, then Ross is definitely way ahead.
Yeah, but overall, just doing their job, like Tenay is just as good as anybody. I'll put him against Jim Ross.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that.
And I don't know, I've always liked Mike Tenay. He's always been my favorite announcer.
So Ring of Honor, we were definitely pleased with this week. NXT was also a better show this week. You still aren't up to this yet.
No, I will be soon. So go ahead.
So the show started off with Hideo Itami coming out, talking to, I guess, addressing the NXT universe, you could say, just kind of having an update on his injury and everything. Owens comes out, they kind of get in a little spat, and then it basically turns into multiple people are coming out, and by the end of it, we have tonight's main event of, what was it? It was Finn Balor and, who was it? I know it was Kevin Owens and, no, it wasn't even Kevin Owens. What was it? I think it was Finn Balor and Rhino was the main event. Yeah, that's what it was. It was Finn Balor and Rhino was the main event. Because Balor came out to attack Owens, and then Rhino came out to attack him. Kevin Owens, again, was kind of just like in commentary during the main event. But yeah, it was nice to see Itami back out there. It's going to be still, I think, like a good 2 to 3 more months. I think it is. Because he said he's going to be at the Tokyo show, but obviously he's not wrestling in it. And Joe not Joe. I compare Joe and Owens so much together. Owens kind of just makes fun of him that he can't actually be there and everything. Enzo Amore and Big Cass, they were in action again this week. They fought Jason Jordan and Sylvester Lefort. We haven't seen Sylvester out there for a while. I think they were mentioning like we haven't seen him since he broke up with his past tag team partner, which was back at like the second NXT event, I think. You remember that?
Yeah, I don't really remember.
Okay, I think it was with the. If I'm not mistaken, it's the one where they have like that tag match. I think it was against Enzo and Big Cass actually, and then his tag team partner had to like shave his head.
Oh yeah. I think that was the second one.
Yeah, it was like it was when they were doing like those like salon kind of vignettes and everything like that. But anyway,
yeah, with Carmelo. Yeah, that was Enzo and
yeah,
Cass.
but Enzo and Cass win this match. It was a short match, but I mean it was okay. Dana Brooke defeated Cassie. Nothing really that much to talk about. It wasn't that great of a match, honestly. Interesting enough, we now have an official tag team name for Mojo and Zack Ryder. So they are now the Hype Bros. If that is not a low point in Zack Ryder's career, I don't know what is. They defeated Angelo Dawkins and Sawyer Fulton.
Way to grab that brass ring.
Yeah, right. It doesn't get any lower now for Zack Ryder. Like at first, if you're going to go back to NXT, that's like, dang, that's pretty low. We're gonna tag you with Mojo Rawley. Oh, that's real low. And we're giving you a tag team name, so you're officially a tag team with Mojo Rawley.
You might as well grab the shower ring. That's about all you're grabbing.
Yeah. So, and like I said, the main event, Finn Balor and Rhino, good match. Finn Balor won. I thought this week's episode was definitely better. I don't know if like the novelty of NXT is now officially worn off or something. It just seems these shows are not as exciting as they were. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think the talent's a little depleted right now.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's like
guys have went up. You got Neville and Bo Dallas and Kevin Owens. You have those guys all up now. So you take those three out. You got Sammy and Tommy out with injuries. You're only really left with Joe and Finn.
Yeah. I'm kind of looking forward to that point. Maybe not looking forward, but interested in seeing how the show is when you take away Owens fully and he just goes up to the main roster. Because without Owens there, I think it loses even just him talking on the show, just him doing like a little promo or being on commentary. It's gonna lose a lot in my book.
Yeah, and that's when they need to start giving these other guys that are down there a bigger finally a shot. Tyler Breeze has had some chances, but he hasn't been put in that spot to be the man. But I think Tyler Breeze deserves a shot at that because the guy is charismatic as hell. His character's great. He can do commentary just like Kevin Owens does, and probably even better than Owens does because he's hilarious.
Yeah.
And he's a good wrestler too. He's not on the level of Balor and Tommy and those guys, but he's not far off.
No. I mean, when you're comparing someone like Balor or Owens to him,
they have
an following. They've been in Japan and everything, and they've done things that has really made them an elite. What'd you say?
Excuse me. They probably have 10+ years experience on him.
They do, but just their styles are more that indie style that fans love. So he's not going to be like that. But for a WWE wrestler in development to get up to the main roster, he has everything that they could ask for. So I think it's and they've toyed with it. Like from the very first event, they had him like as a main feature. So bring him back up there. See what he can do. Like keep him going. Don't bring him down and up and everything. Like the consistent seesawing with him in NXT has been really frustrating to watch, and I'm sure it's even more frustrating for him. Last thing I wanted to bring up with NXT from this week was they had part 2 of the Finn Balor documentary, which was really cool this week. They talked a lot about his relationship with who is it? The announcer for NXT, the big guy. Or he's like the new general manager now for NXT, or the big trainer.
Jason Albert?
Yeah, him. They talked about his relationship with him and a lot of time with him in New Japan and how they both were in New Japan, because that was basically they were in New Japan at the same time, and I think that was right after he left WWE with his first run as Prince Albert.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was NXT in a nutshell. Decent show. Still not up to the standards that gets you really excited for it, but definitely better than the last couple weeks. All right, last couple topics.
Tough Enough.
You want to talk about Tough Enough now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so Tough Enough debuted this week. It was an interesting show. It was different than I expected. It was kind of, I would say, American Idol meets Tough Enough of the past.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that, 100%.
Which, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just, it's not, if you're expecting to watch Tough Enough with Stone Cold as the trainer, and then you tuned in last week to watch it, then you were definitely disappointed. I have friends that were definitely disappointed watching it that were expecting the same thing.
Yeah, and I thought so too. Like, I thought Chris Jericho was going to kind of be like the trainer, like the head person. That's kind of how they build it, I thought. And
yeah, I thought he was really taking Stone Cold's spot.
All he was Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah, legit. I mean,
yeah.
he was just there to host.
And they had Hogan, Page, and Daniel Bryan as the three judges that were there in the studio with Jericho. But then as your actual trainers, you had Booker T, Billy Gunn, and Lita were your three trainers.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I like it where, like, Daniel Bryan, Hogan, Page, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, whoever, come in once, every episode. You'd have somebody new come in and talk to these people and train them, help train them with whatever exercise they're going through that day. I liked it a lot better like that.
They're going to do that again, I feel, because Roman Reigns is doing that this week.
Yeah, which I understand, and that's fine. But then you're having Page, Daniel Bryan, and Hogan decide these people's fates, other than, they're making it interactive and having the fans, but these guys can save them, but they don't really know any of them. I would much rather have Lita, Booker T, and Billy Gunn, who are around them. They see everything. They know what if they're good, if they're bad, or whatever. They're with them, when the cameras aren't rolling and stuff. I would much rather have their opinion matter more than what Hogan, Page, and Daniel Bryan are seeing from a video.
Yeah, and we talked about this after the show, after Tough Enough last week, and I agree. Like, it's kind of cool to see this many different people on the show. It's cool to see like a Hulk Hogan, who's obviously one of the biggest icons in the business, and you see Daniel Bryan, who the fans absolutely adore, and Paige, who is by far one of the best female wrestlers that ever come into the business ever. To be there, but for those to be the people that are actually deciding stuff, that doesn't sound right to me. I mean, you have their actual trainers. You have Billy Gunn with them day in and day out, and Booker T and Lita. Like, these are the people that really know everything. You can edit a TV show all you want for 40 minutes of production. That's great. But those are the people that have been with them for the whole week. Like, they're the people that know what's going on with them completely.
Yeah.
And for you to not even ask for their opinion whatsoever, that just doesn't sit well with me. And that's why it's, I don't know, like, I did enjoy the show, and I'm going to enjoy watching Tough Enough on a weekly basis. I really am, but that didn't sit well with me.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. You have to probably excuse us. We don't know everybody's name off the top of our heads just yet. But the one guy who was super cocky and nobody liked, well, at least all the guys didn't like, that dude is so far ahead of everybody else conditioning wise and just in shape.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even fair.
No.
And it's really I just think that kid's going to win it all. No matter, he, like you said, he's way too cocky, and he probably is. But you know what? When you are the best, you got to be, and that's kind of what Hogan and those guys kind of want to see,
Yeah.
I also want to say this too. The one guy that you like a lot, what's his name? The country kid. ZZ, okay. Everyone loves him. He's a really, really nice kid. He's charming and all that. And, he tries really hard, but he's not really built for this. conditioning wise, like he has no clue what he's getting into. But he's just so well liked and so popular. This is what I'm afraid of, that with the fans voting, that he's going to stick around a lot longer than he should.
Yeah.
And it's happened on American Idol and stuff where this kid just can't fucking sing worth a shit, but all these people like him because of it, and they push him through.
Yeah. Tanner was the guy you were talking about in the beginning.
Okay, yeah, Tanner. Tanner is by far the best guy there.
Yeah.
There's another guy there named Alex. He's this big kind of like, he's got these cool tattoos. I kind of wanted to do it on myself. I thought it would be kind of cool. He's got like these
the bald guy?
Yeah, the bald guy.
Yeah.
He's got armor tattoos, like an actual plate of armor tattoos on his chest and his back. I thought that was cool.
Who's been on, and I know this isn't going to make me sound so manly, but there's a guy that was on the OC, and he was also on Nashville. That's going on right now, and he looks just like that guy.
Wow, you really aren't manly.
Yeah, I know. That's why I admitted it in the beginning. But I do like him. Yeah, Tanner. I really do like Tanner. It's just, if you're gonna be this cocky, you got to back it up. And if you ever stop backing it up, you're gonna get shit on.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this too, being a fan competition. You gotta not piss off the fans, and some people will take that as this kid is way too cocky, like Jeff is saying, and they're just gonna not vote for him if he goes up for elimination. He's got to be so good that he never goes up for elimination. Otherwise, I think he will be cut. And even if they save him, I'm sure they would save him. There's no doubt in my mind, but you got to make sure you don't have any bad weeks at all. He's got to be the best every week.
Yeah.
So he's the one that I think everyone's going to be watching, because he has no margin for error now.
No, not at all. And if I was him, I would maybe take a backtrack and not be this cocky.
Yeah.
You can't go from 10 to 1, but you can go from like 10 to 8 to 6.
Yeah. He needs to worry about which one of the girls he's going to be banging on the show. He needs to start worrying about that a little bit more.
Yeah. The person that actually got eliminated this week was Hank. Hank was just an average-looking dude. He wasn't really doing anything too spectacular.
He was like from King of the Hill.
Yeah. Did you watch the Tough Talk afterwards?
No.
Okay. I ended up watching it. It's a half an hour after show. Like if people watch Breaking Bad or Walking Dead or something like that, then there's like there's. Is
this the one that Miz hosts?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It was entertaining actually. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing too special about it. But it is a fun after show where he basically interviewed every single person. They just stood in that line at the very end of the show, and he interviewed all the people, including Hank. Kind of talked with Hogan and Paige and Daniel and everything. But it was cool. I'm excited for the show, honestly. Like I said, it's a different setup than I'm used to, and I don't necessarily love the way it's set up. But it
might grow on us. Yeah, it might grow on us. We might like it more and more.
If you could pick one person, one guy, one female, who would you pick right now?
Tanner by far for the guys.
Okay.
Girls would be the other blonde that wasn't featured very much. I don't remember her name. I think it was Amanda.
Amanda? Okay.
I think that was her name, but not the one that was like crying and missing her husband's cock and shit and whatever the fuck she was crying about.
Wow. All of those words all in one. For me, the guy I'm picking, it's not ZZ. ZZ will be out in the next 2 weeks.
Please don't tell me the Egyptian dude.
It is. That's who I'm picking.
Oh, God,
I'm picking the Egyptian guy, Mata.
He's terrible.
No,
Tanner,
you just wait.
Tanner is going to take him to Suplex City, bitch.
If it's not him, my top 3 guys would be Mata. I'm not even going to go with Tanner because I think something's going to happen. My 3 is Mata, Alex, like you mentioned, and Josh.
Yeah. That's my thing is with the guy who's like the most cockiest and the best pretty much the whole show, just like in the last one, which was Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Luke was cocky as hell, going out, partying, being like Ric Flair with the girls and stuff, and he ended up being the runner-up.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm afraid Tanner's going down, but he's just so much better than everybody else. If he would just learn to shut the fuck up a little bit, he's got a WWE contract. He'll be in NXT fighting Finn Balor in no time.
As for the women go, I'm going to go with just one of the blondes. My only hope for women is that Gabby gets eliminated as quickly as freaking possible.
She's.
I hate her first of all because she took the spot of the girl that deserved that spot, but she just wasn't able to for health reasons. And two, she's annoying as shit. She doesn't know anything about wrestling. I don't care. Just get on TV.
Yeah, and I think most of them are all attractive, but I think there's a couple of them that are pretty athletic. What surprised me the most is when they did their up downs and running into the ropes.
Yeah.
The one blonde that was crying did like 12 or 13 of them. She blew like all the other girls out of the water. I was shocked as hell at that. Like I figured she would do 2 and say, "Oh, I gotta stop because my husband's calling," or something like that. No, she's fucking annoying. Like either. Do you want to be here to be a WWE diva, or you want to be on that dick? Go home and fucking ride it. Don't fucking really.
Nothing more needs to even be said.
That bitch ain't gonna listen to this podcast, dude.
No.
Not to worry about it. But the other blonde I like, and then there's that other girl. I don't remember her name. She's got dark hair. She's real short. She kind of looks like she has like the AJ Lee build. She's like from Michigan. Yeah, she was from Michigan. I like her a lot too.
Okay, yeah. She's something to look at. Not looks wise, just like see if she develops. But yeah,
she's got the AJ Lee mold. It's a really smaller girl.
Yeah, I kind of got that vibe off her too. So yeah, we're definitely excited to watch this, and we're going to give our little review every week about the show. First week wasn't really too much. Hopefully they show more action. They didn't really show too much action. That's why it felt really. It's just a different show, and I just have to get past that. I think
the first week is usually just that basic training, running the rope stuff.
Yeah.
Now you're going to start getting into the actually taking bumps and stuff. Like, see, I don't know if you remember this. It wasn't Tough Enough. It was something else. I want to say it was like one of those My Life, I Want to Be a Pro Wrestler things.
Yeah.
And they had one with like Billy Gunn was on it, and he was making that kid just fall back on his back the whole time. You remember that was like on MTV? Yes, it was something like that, and they made this kid fall like on his back, like to actually take a fall and do flips like 300 times, and this dude's back was just beat red. It was like, I remember they had like Tony Atlas was on it. It was like a whole show. It was like a 2-hour show. Like they did like follow Triple H around when he was with China and DX. They were talking to Billy Gunn. It was on MTV. I forget what it was called, but they had a whole bunch of stuff. Like it was kind of like Beyond the Mat, but it was on MTV.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't recall that.
It was during the Sunday Night Heat days. And all.
That's probably what it was then. Probably an association with that.
Yeah, because they were all on MTV at that time.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to talk about the only two things of WWE, really. I mean, we talked about a little bit of NXT, Tough Enough, but actual main roster WWE stuff. Just 2 topics came around this week. The first being that, or the first we're going to talk about is that it got reported that Shawn Michaels was actually offered a very big role in WrestleMania this year, but he turned down the offer. Now, he's saying it's a really big offer. What I'm thinking is the offer was just to be a part of that whole NWO DX thing.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
But he said he turned it down. So my question to you is, because he said, like, he gave the analogy, just because you have gas in your tank doesn't mean you have to drive. So he's kind of saying he's done what he wants to do. There's nothing else to do. It's not a big deal for him to keep showing back up. Do you like that from Shawn Michaels, or would you like to see like old people come back and be able to do
No, because I think he sees what Hogan and Flair do, and it's like, dude, just give it up already.
Yeah, it kind of
trying to wrestle and stuff. Especially when Flair came back and like wrestled in TNA and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's like, all right, man, it's it's time to hang it up. It's like those boxers that just keep fighting and fighting and fighting when they should have retired 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I think he's smart enough to see that and to know how much his body has taken over the years, because he's had back problems and whatever else problems in his career.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's just smart enough to know that, and especially with the way his life has changed, and he's more of a family man. I think family is more important to him than money and all that. He's already got enough money in the world. Well, I think family is just more important to him, which is great.
Yeah, and he still does I think he still has that show too.
The hunting show.
Yeah, so.
He comes around WWE once in a while. You'll see him maybe once or twice a year. He comes around for special things, and he'll be around. Yeah, Hall of Fame, WrestleMania weekend, and he'll do. He'll appear on Raws here and there. If they're in San Antonio or whatever. And I think that's enough for me. It's cool when you see him. It's not overdone like how Ric Flair would show up every week. So I don't know. I agree with it. And if he didn't want to do it, he didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I think he realizes I don't need to go on there. These other kids, they need that spotlight. He doesn't need that spotlight for everyone to know, that he's still the man and he's the best WrestleMania wrestler ever. Everybody knows that. No one's gonna top him right now.
If only someone could give that mentality to Vince.
Yeah, unless Jeff Jarrett shows up to WrestleMania, no one's going to top Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels, Jeff Jarrett, 1 and 2. I don't know.
King of the Mountain triple cage match, baby.
Settle it all.
Yeah, David Arquette versus Jeff Jarrett, WrestleMania.
Oh, don't start. I can't even go there. I literally can't even watch whenever they do something about him winning the WCW title with David Arquette. I can't. I have to turn it off. It's like... Do
you picture him in a cop uniform going, I will bust you.
I will rule you.
No, he says, I will bust you.
Yeah, I know. I do love that movie. Me and my brother would watch that movie every single week. If you put that movie on in front of us, we will quote that whole entire movie.
Hell yeah. I'm the same way.
Yeah. All right, so last topic today, Dolph Ziggler. We said last week that it looked like he wasn't going to re-sign his contract unless he was being put into some big storyline, some big angle, some big push. We don't know if any of that's happening, but he did re-sign. And it's the smart thing for him to do.
Well, is it official that he resigned?
Yeah,
because I haven't seen anything up. Okay,
it is official. Because he even made a tweet about it. So maybe it's not official with WWE of actually posting that he's resigned, but they don't do that. They don't say we've resigned this guy. But he has posted on his Twitter, and he's kind of coming out saying, I love this company. I've always been with this company. I want to retire from just this company. I love being here, and so it's shut the fuck up. No, you don't. It's you might actually, you love being a wrestler, but you cannot tell me that the frustration level on Dolph Ziggler is not high with the way he's been used. There was nowhere else for him to go, so I understand it. What's he going to do? We talked about it last week. There's nowhere else you can go. You could do GFW, you could cling on to TNA for a little bit, you could go to ROH, but you're not going to be the Dolph Ziggler you can be with WWE. So either you can reinvent yourself at another company and be a quarter of what you're looked at in WWE, or you can be shown on the premiere show with WWE and be half the person that you you can be. And he chose in mediocrity.
It just all boils down to WWE not giving the smaller guys usually a push unless it's... I think the only thing that would really save him is if the fans just really got behind him and just made it crazy like they did with Daniel Bryan. Yeah,
and another thing is he is now, any kind of push he had of leverage, he's lost it all. He has no leverage now.
Yeah, because they'll probably
something was developed within re-signing this contract.
Yeah, I could just see them being like, "Oh, so you want this push and you're mad at us, huh? Well, fuck you. We're pushing you. You're going back to NXT."
He'd probably cry happy tears.
Yeah, we're gonna make a new one. It's called XNXT. So get your ass down there. We're gonna open up FCW again, and it's not gonna be on TV or anything. You're going there, buddy.
You're going to XFL, even though XFL's not been a company for like 15 years.
Oh my God, he hate me.
Yeah, he hate me. Oh
God.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for this week. You have anything else you wanted to bring up from this past week?
Do we get any new followers? Any tweets?
We're not gonna talk about
check? We didn't get any?
The Twitter machine hasn't been going so strong this week.
Did you even check to see if we got any replies or
tweets? You know what? I
I
forgot to bring this up a week or two ago. We got favorited by Josh Alexander.
Nice.
And we got retweeted by Ricky Shane Page.
Nice.
Yeah. That was a win for me. Ricky Shane Page actually looked at one of our tweets and retweeted.
Have you checked if we've had any retweets or replies to any of our stuff though?
Nope. Definitely not. People favorited it. People have favorited some of your stuff, but people aren't retweeting. So people get on that, please.
Okay.
Follow us at The Rope Break. Follow us on YouTube at The Rope Break. Podbean, it is also The Rope Break. So, all good and good.
If you say so.
I gotta stay positive. If I don't stay positive, it's just gonna be a breakdown of just rants.
Uh-huh.
And then that's just not even enjoyable to listen to.
Okay, I see. We have a retweet there. We have a new Rope Break podcast. Somebody retweeted on that. So somebody retweeted one of our podcasts.
When was that?
I don't know. It says 1 retweet, 2 favorites. Maybe we got some viewers, buddy. Maybe we got
we did. Maybe some people are coming on.
Yeah.
They're coming on strong.
Do we get any replies, though? I can't tell if there's replies.
Oh, actually, yeah. You know what? We've gotten 5 notifications since we posted our show this afternoon.
Oh, all right. What do we got, buddy? Read them live on air.
Actually, you know what? We got a good comment.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Oh man. Oh, are you Ryan O'Reilly?
No, I'm Eric Vanek.
I feel you're Ryan O'Reilly.
No. What did Ryan O'Reilly have to say?
We're not going to talk about that.
Well, Ryan O'Reilly, congratulations. You are our winner of our Daniel Bryan DVD. So get in contact with Jeff, and he'll send that DVD out to you.
That's not true. But you know what? You will, if you are an actual real person, which I have my doubts. I do have my doubts. Then you will be in the running for the DVD.
What did the tweet say?
You know what? That's going to be it for us this week, guys. We are going to see you next week. This is the Beast from the Northeast.
Oh, what a gay porn name that is.
Yeah, okay. See, that's what I'm talking about. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
The Chosen One.